Alright, what's up everybody? We're out here doing another job. We're doing a lot of things actually. So I'll put the description of what this vehicle is in the title so you guys actually know what this is. But I'm replacing the entire strut and upper control arm. It's one assembly. Changing the rotors, changing the pads, and changing the half shaft. This long intermediate shaft. I already did the other side. I was supposed to replace the wheel bearings, but since she has aftermarket rims, the studs weren't long enough. The stock ones are like a 1/4 inch longer, and so we didn't do that. But without further ado, let's begin on this thing. So, where's my screwdriver? So for just assembling the caliper, there's 2 plastic caps here. Take those things off. That one's already missing. And then you're going to use, I believe this is an 8mm Allen, 7mm. They're Allen wrenches. Crack those bad boys. Take those out. And then you got the 2 18mm holding on the caliper bracket. And then I'll get back to you guys once I take that off. Okay everyone, as you can see we got the caliper bracket off. Those 2 18s and those 2 Allen wrenches, which are right here still encapsulated in the actual caliper. And we have this fancy caliper compressor tool. It's actually not fancy. It's like a $20 tool. Lang 279. I recommend everyone who does brakes a lot to buy this tool because it makes your life easy. I'm doing this one-handed with the camera in the other hand. Sorry, it's all over the place, but I can't hold it steady with the other hand. But you get the point. After I compress this, just gonna let it sit. We're going to take out this axle nut, which is a 32. Impact that off. And then we're going to unbolt this. This is cut away because they had 20s on this thing at one point. It was hitting the tire, so we got to take that off. And then we're going to take these 2 off and the 4 that are up in the engine bay off. But let me compress this and take the axle nut out first. Alright everyone, as you can see we got the half shaft popped out there. Calipers hanging on the outer tie rod. And these are the 4 bolts up top you gotta take off, which are 18mm. That's what holds your upper suspension in. Take that off. You go under here. That's not an 18, of course it's not, it's the other side. But you take these 2 off, and the whole thing will drop, and you will have to separate this fork from the strut, so you're gonna have to bang it down. But that's how you replace your strut, and I'll get back to you once I take this off. And we have the entire strut assembly out, guys. Here's that fork I was telling you about. You just lift it up with one hand in your left and beat this fork off with your right with a hammer. And now the only thing we gotta do is pull this axle shaft out. So I gotta sketchily crawl under here, supported by a jack stand, floor jack. Don't do this, kids, but support your whole car by jack stands. Do as I say, not as I do. So I'm gonna go under there, make sure there's no retainer clip holding it in. If not, pry bar, and make sure you have a drip pan, because I lost about 2 quarts on the ground pulling the other one out, even when it was up in the air. So you will lose some oil, yeah. You'll lose some transmission fluid doing this, guys. So be prepared to get a little dirty. All right, guys, we got the old one out. We only had to go under there and pry it. I just took this tip here and it wasn't really stuck. You always want to compare old parts to new parts. The only thing that's different is it has this. Most old ones do have this, and new ones really don't have that. But same length. Everything looks good, so we're going to go and install this. And we're going to get the strut mounted up, guys. Alright everybody, update. Half shaft is in, strut is in. We tightened these 2 up here. This is tight with a cotter pin in. This bolt is not in because we want to compress this suspension so it's under load, and then we tighten it. Otherwise, you could have problems, so don't do that. But you can tighten the bottom one. The bottom fork can be tightened, and you can even... No, you're not going to be able to get this in because it's not compressed. So I'm going to have to lift this vehicle up, put a jack stand under here, and lower it on the jack stand, and then put the bolt through. But after that, I'll just show you guys rotor and brake pads and caliper, put that all back together, and that's the front end. And then I think I'm going to go onto the suspension and drum brakes on the back. Yes, sir. Don't do this, guys. This is sketchy. Okay, but we did what we had to. because I was not getting any higher because I don't have really level ground. So don't do that, but do it if you have to. Totally didn't forget to record, guys. The only thing that I didn't really mention is that metal clip. Make sure you put the new metal clips on. This thing's a waste of time. What is it even there for? There's no cotter pin to hold this thing in, so I'll put one through it, but still. Everything went pretty smoothly. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides I'm gonna top the transmission off now, start it up, see where the fluid level's at, add some because we lost a quart or two on the ground, move on to rear suspension and drum brakes and be done with this thing, guys. Alright guys, last things to do, we're replacing, I already did the other side, we're replacing the rear struts and shocks. Yeah, we're replacing the rear suspension, guys, and you gotta get in here. There's 2 bolts for you to take off for the upper struts mounts. 1 second, it's a little tight in here. So those 2, and then there's that 1 bolt down there. I also take off that lower control arm, and then it comes out real easy. So you do that to take out lower suspension, rear suspension. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, guys. I'll get it out and show you. And then once you do that, guys, your rear suspension is out. Junk, junk, junk. 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna do drum as well. That one wasn't too fun on the other side, but I'll show you guys how it's done. All right, everyone, as you can see, it looks super clean. That's just because I cleaned it. But the thing you want to do for disassembling, I would, if you're a beginner, first time doing drum brakes, take a picture, because you probably won't remember how it goes back together. But some tools that you can use to take stuff apart: needle nose channel locks and lineman pliers. For these, you want to push in and twist because they're locked in 90 degrees. So you turn them 90 degrees. When you compress them, those will come out. Loosen the tensioner spring here all the way loose, because that's going to bring these together and make these springs here and here a lot easier to take off. Without that, it's going to be a pain in your ass. I'm telling you, drum brakes aren't fun, but you can do them, I promise. Rear spring, this one can come off too. That's just holding this arm to hold the this tensioner. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble and show you guys. And now you're looking at it like, what did I do? How was this ever gonna go back together again? Don't worry, if you took a picture, you'll figure it out. The only other thing you gotta do is take the emergency brake cable off. So take some channel locks and pull this, and then slide it off. That's how you take that off. And then we will go to the assembly. I'll show you stages of how I assemble them. Emergency brakes on. We got this held on. We're gonna go put the other one same way as we did that one, and then I'll show you guys what I do from there. Now that we got that side on, we put on the middle tension adjuster, and we put on this clip, slides behind the tensioner and right around the spring. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook this spring on here first. Goes like this. Sorry, I had it backwards. And then we're gonna hook, we gotta hook that top spring. That top spring's gonna be hard because it goes up here and then it goes in that back hole. So we're gonna work on that. I didn't show you the last and most important step because I was tired with this thing, dude. Took too long. I got a screwdriver in the palm. But you want to adjust it till you can just barely get this drum on. So loosen, tighten it up, whatever you guys got to do. Most of the time it's all the way loose with new brakes. And then you just slide it on and it should be good. I'm going to put the tire on and take it for a test drive and make sure everything's good and safe.